Every morning, as the sun began to rise, Wenxian would wake up and prepare for his daily routine. He'd put on his old blue jacket, grab his broom, dustpan, and a large plastic bag, and head out to the roads of his small town. For 1 hour each day, Wenxian would slowly walk along the roads, carefully sweeping up small stones into neat piles. He'd then sweep them up and pour them into the bag. People often stared as they passed by, wondering why this middle-aged man spent his mornings picking up rocks. This road frequently had large trucks carrying sand and gravel. They often dropped small stones as they passed, making the road dangerous for motorcycles and bicycles. One day, a young boy named Peter stopped to watch Wenxian work. After a few minutes, his curiosity got the better of him. "Excuse me, mister," Peter said politely. "Why are you picking up all these little stones?" Wenxian smiled at the boy. "I'm keeping our streets clean," he replied. "It's important to take care of our environment." Peter nodded, but he still looked confused. "But they're just rocks. They're not really dirty, are they?" "Well," Wenxian said, pausing his work for a moment, "sometimes small things can cause big problems. It's better to take care of them before that happens." The boy shrugged and continued on his way to school. Wenxian watched him go, then returned to his task with a sigh. As the weeks passed, more people began to notice Wenxian's daily routine. Some thought he was strange, while others admired his dedication to keeping the streets tidy. A local reporter even wrote a small article about him in the town newspaper, praising his community spirit. But Wenxian never told anyone the real reason behind his stone-sweeping habit. The truth was far more painful than he cared to share. 5 years ago, Wenxian's father had been riding his motorcycle home late one night. The street lights were dim, and he didn't see a small stone in the road. His wheel hit the stone, causing him to lose control and fall. Before he could get up, a car coming from behind couldn't stop in time. Wenxian's father died that night, all because of a small stone on the road. Since then, Wenxian had made it his mission to prevent such a tragedy from happening to anyone else. He knew he couldn't clean every street, but he hoped that by doing his small part, he could save more lives. One crisp autumn morning, as Wenxian went about his usual routine, he noticed a commotion up ahead. A crowd had gathered around a motorcycle lying on its side, its rider sitting on the curb looking dazed. Wenxian's heart raced as he hurried towards the scene, his broom, dustpan, and bag still in hand. As he approached, he overheard the rider explaining to onlookers, "I hit something, a stone, I think. The bike just slipped out from under me." Wenxian felt a chill run down his spine. This was exactly the scenario he had been working so hard to prevent. He looked around and spotted a small stone a few feet away from the fallen motorcycle. Without a word, Wenxian began sweeping the area, clearing away any remaining debris. The crowd watched him curiously, but he paid them no mind. His focus was solely on making the road safe again. After ensuring the immediate area was clear, Wenxian approached the rider. "Are you all right?" he asked, genuine concern in his voice. The rider, a young woman, nodded. "I think so. Just a bit shaken up. Thank you for cleaning up. I've seen you doing this before, but I never understood why until now." Wenxian smiled sadly. "I'm glad you're okay. There are many small stones on the roads here. Please be careful when passing through." As the crowd dispersed and the young woman left with her slightly damaged motorcycle, Peter, the boy who had questioned Wenxian weeks earlier, approached him. "I saw what happened," Peter said, his eyes wide. "You were right about small things causing big problems. Can I help you clean the roads sometimes?" Wenxian felt a warmth spread through his chest. "Of course, Peter. I'd appreciate your help." From that day forward, Peter would join Wenxian on weekends, the two of them working side by side to keep the roads clean. Other children in the neighborhood, inspired by Peter's example, began to help as well. Finally, the good deeds of Wenxian and these children gradually spread throughout the small town. The local government installed better lighting on the roads and increased street cleaning efforts. The truck companies were pressured to secure their loads better to prevent stones from falling. Wenxian's simple act of sweeping stones had sparked a community-wide movement for safer roads. One morning, as Wenxian was finishing up his sweep, the town mayor approached him. "Wenxian," the mayor said, "I want to thank you for what you've been doing all these years. We've seen a significant decrease in road accidents since you started your morning routine. The town council would like to honor you at our next meeting." Wenxian shook his head modestly. "That's not necessary. I'm just doing what needs to be done." The mayor smiled. "I understand. But your dedication has inspired our whole town. Sometimes it takes one person to show us all how to make a difference." As Wenxian walked home that morning, he thought about his father. He wished he could tell him that his small act of kindness might have prevented many tragedies. He also wanted to say that people were becoming more united while the government was paying more attention to street cleaning. Though the pain of loss would never fully fade, Wenxian felt a sense of peace knowing that his father's tragedy had led to so much positive change. He realized that his small act of sweeping stones had become something much bigger, a lesson in community, in perseverance, and in the power of individual action. As he looked at the clean, safe road before him, Wenxian knew that every stone he had swept away had been a tribute to his father's memory and a gift to his community's future. In that moment, Wenxian understood that sometimes the most profound changes start with the simplest actions, and that no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted.
单字 Dustpan 本机 Noun. A flat container with a handle into which you brush dust and dirt. Sweep 扫除 Verb. To clean something, especially a floor, by using a brush to collect the dirt into one place from which it can be removed. Neat 整洁的整齐的 Adjective. Tidy, with everything in its place. Gravel 砾石 Noun. Small, rounded stones often mixed with sand. Mr. Mr. 的完整形式先生 Noun. The complete form of the title Mr. Shrug. 表示不知道或不感兴趣耸肩 Verb. To raise your shoulders and then lower them in order to say you do not know or are not interested. Crisp. 天气干冷的 Adjective. Crisp weather is cold, dry, and bright. Commotion 骚动 Noun. A sudden, short period of noise, confusion, or excited movement. Dazed 恍惚的眩晕的 Adjective. Very confused and unable to think clearly. Onlooker 旁观者 Noun. Someone who watches something that is happening in a public place but is not involved in it. Scenario 场景 Noun. A description of possible actions or events in the future. Disperse 使分散 Verb. To spread across or move away over a large area, or to make something do this. Tribute 致敬敬意 Noun. An action done to honor or show respect for someone or something.